we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
All right, we're live with episode 2 of the SFP. We got Coley in the house with Ryan and me.
This is a very good intro.
I don't know why I did that.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got a giveaway going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to grow a little bit, and we've got Star Wars: Attack of the Clones, widescreen edition. Big Star Wars guys, super big. Ryan knows everything on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
He's a human encyclopedia of Star Wars knowledge. So basically, all you have to do to enter is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, any sort of platform that we're on, which is all on Anchor. Just like, subscribe, comment, retweet, share, write us a review. Every single one counts as one entry. It's important. Unlimited entries. It's unlimited entries for anybody, and once we hit 50 entries, then we're gonna give it away and pick a random winner. So honestly, 50 entries isn't a lot, so please
and we must be pretty close to maxing out, right? People should hurry up and get in the contest.
Oh, most definitely. It's getting down there. It's getting down there, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Well,
and after this, the giveaways don't end. We've got so many more giveaways. Music, clothes. We'll send you chips at some point. We'll give away Tostitos chips. Just hold us accountable to that.
Remember when I was eating those chips on our last podcast?
The last episode
or the podcast?
On the RB podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
You think that one guy would listen to this podcast?
I reach out to him. So we had a podcast like 4 years ago, maybe 3. I don't know, and it was pretty bad. And we uploaded it to SoundCloud. And a random guy, like 50-year-old guy, listened through the whole podcast. So props to him. It was probably an hour of awful.
Yeah, it was about an hour
quality.
And a half. And the funny thing was, the reason we knew he listened to the whole thing, because the intro was horrible, so I just blasted some music at the end. And he said, kind of hard to hear the podcast here. So he was like right into it, I guess, and was disappointed that the outro music was so loud.
Do you still have the login info and everything for that?
No idea. Is that still out there?
It has to be. Did you delete it? It's on SoundCloud. It has to be on SoundCloud.
R&B podcasts come up. I don't know how to search without
RB podcast. The RB.
Oh, the
we'll
RB
find
podcasts. It is here.
All right.
We've got 2 episodes. We've got a pilot episode. It's 41 minutes, and then we've got a episode 6 years ago.
We're gonna reach out to this guy, and we're gonna send him a link to our Anchor, an RSS feed.
This is a pretty dang good podcast.
I'm not gonna listen to that podcast.
No, what he said was best podcast ever on Bible Thumping Wingnut Network. It said best podcast ever at the very end.
We need to reach out to that guy.
That's not bad, huh?
No.
Best podcast ever. Wow.
Well, I was going to ask you, I was thinking about this week in the podcast, I was going to ask you if you trust our election and the process, but I'm not going to ask you that now because today Wednesday, December 9th, or maybe it was yesterday. We can't talk about the integrity of the election based on YouTube's new policy rules. So I do trust the election, and so does Ryan. And the Something Fishy podcast endorses Joe Biden as the, I guess, president or assistant to the president elect. However you would say it. He's not president elect yet, technically, but he's on his way. So congrats to Joe. We love YouTube, and we would never do anything to step outside of their bounds because we love them and we agree with them.
Yeah, I just want to say that I really appreciate YouTube, their efforts over the last couple of years. You go back 5 years, people were watching conspiracy theories. You know, you had like a lot of 9/11 truthers, flat Earth truthers on the network, and they've done a really good job of cleaning that up and getting rid of these crazy voices. And now this next step, questioning and looking for truth, that's a very dangerous thing because when people go looking for the truth, they find it. So I applaud YouTube for suppressing anything that might be controversial. So
Exactly.
good job, YouTube.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Thank you. So over under 5 episodes of this podcast.
Until we get demonetized or we slip up and do some copyright or
Until we join the Alex Jones radio network.
No, I think
it's over already.
So they don't. No, it's already over. They don't. I don't think it matters because we're small unless we get somebody, I don't know, from high school or like college or some job that we still are connected with through Facebook or something, and they flag us just because our political opinions aren't, I don't know, like sitting in the right, like mainstream right hand side or the mainstream left hand side. But I don't know. Maybe we lean right or libertarian, but I don't think. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad at somebody. I wouldn't be mad at if I heard like what we were saying.
Yeah, no, I actually wanted to bring up that topic. This idea of right and left. Like this whole idea of right and left is just a tactic to divide us, right? Is a tactic to think that like you have to oppose everyone and everything, right?
Because, yeah, for the most part.
You know, if you're on the right, then you say, well, I must have to disagree with everything on the left. And if you're on the left, you must say, well, I have to disagree with everything on the right because our brains are trained from a young age that there's good and evil, there's right and wrong.
It's tribalism.
Left and right. Yeah. So what we really need to do is have, I mean, like me and you, we're both pro-human, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're both pro-human. We're in favor of the human race prospering and becoming wealthy and becoming safe and becoming successful and advancing in civilization. And I think, like, I would say, what do you say, like 90% of people are probably pro-human?
Probably 90%. There's a lot. There's weird stuff. So, yeah, probably 90%. Some people want population control. They would be in that 10% who is not pro-human, or maybe they would be pro-human because by wanting population control, they want you know what I'm saying? It's just like that, just off skew. I can tell you something though. Maybe I'll get some flack for this. I understand their need in the animal hierarchy or insect hierarchy, but I'm not pro-spider.
I'm anti-spider as well. Yes.
I'm anti-spider. And you know what?
Our first stand.
If you want to cancel me, cancel me.
That's our first stand. And this actually transitions very well into one of our articles that I had in our show prep group chat. Let me read the title here since it's behind a paywall.
Just some background for the show prep group chat. It's a chat between Ryan and I, and we send interesting articles or stories so that we remember to talk about them on the podcast or later in the week. So that's a little inside info for all of the listeners.
Actually, this article was not. behind the paywall. Let
Oh,
me summarize it. So title is former is Israeli Israeli space chief says aliens exist and Trump knows about it.
well, if Trump. Okay, are you gonna? Are
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
there
Well,
more?
I'm just gonna sum it. The
Okay, yeah.
Galactic Federation has been This is from NBC News, by the way. Shocking. A galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. And then the bit about Trump in here, let me find it. So, President Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. So, scale 1 to 10, how much weight does this carry in your mind?
I see. I don't know. It's interesting because I saw that the Earth isn't not a part of the Galactic Federation.
And do
Did you
we
see
want to join
that?
the Galactic Federation?
Right. Exactly. It's
We're
see
pro-human,
if
damn
okay,
it.
we are pro-human. So if we're gonna ship human jobs out to other planets into aliens, I would not be for an agreement to be in the Galactic Federation. However, if it's some sort of modified trade network where we do sustain human jobs and we keep human jobs here on Earth rather than shipping them out, I would be for. I would be pro
We
Federation.
need to preserve Earth culture. These aliens, they come into our planet and they bring their alien culture and they don't want to assimilate to our Earth culture. We can't let them in. We
That's
got to
true.
build an invisible laser wall using the technology that Trump obtained from Tesla since his uncle was in the FBI and had all the Tesla notes.
That is some really interesting stuff. I mean, if we want to delve down to conspiracy, with like
No,
free energy and things,
we're trying to keep this
but
up.
well, we'll keep on track. I won't go too far out of bounds. Let's stick to the aliens and Galactic Federation. So, okay, supposedly the presidents have a black book, and they all sort of know about this stuff, right?
Right.
So, and supposedly technology is way ahead in the government sphere versus the public sphere, right?
I don't doubt it.
So it's weird. So they declassified UFOs this year, which obviously UFOs aren't specifically alien. It's just unidentified flying object, and
Right.
they're just attributed to alien. So I I don't know. I think it holds some weight. I don't know how much weight, and I'm not saying that it's like even 10%. But this Israeli guy, he does have credentials, right?
Yeah, no, I think he was. The article seemed to say that he was a well-respected. Seemed to imply that he was a I haven't looked at. I haven't even Googled his name just to see what he's connected to. But
Mm-hmm.
it seemed to me that he was well-respected, and I think one of the quotes in the article was like, "I've got nothing to lose at this point. I don't care." He's just like, I just want. I'll just tell people what do I got to lose? I'm
True.
well respected. Yeah.
I completely get that because I just took my stand against spiders.
It
So,
is interesting though. I I would say I would still be skeptical of it unless I saw solid proof, or if Trump was like, I'm leaving office. Here's all the secrets. But it is kind of weird that more of this stuff doesn't, like, all these presidents buy in. You have to wonder like what kind of leverage the deep
well,
state has on them and that sort of thing, where
it's
they don't want to share like all these secrets.
more stuff has come out under Trump though than it has in the Bush or Obama
Yeah,
administration.
but they
And I
always
say that because I've only lived through the three administrations.
right. Well, they always release stuff like at midnight when there's like something crazy going on. Like what wasn't there a bunch of Kennedy files that were just declassified earlier this year?
Maybe I know there were files. Something was going on with Hillary. No, they declassified a bunch of files, wasn't it, when Hillary had her court hearings? It was something like
It was
that.
something somewhat recently, I think that, and there's been a lot of. We can talk about that some other time, but um, so some got declassified in 2018, but some of them were still held back.
Well, yeah, But the thing about it is, those are declassified, and the government's known about that stuff for what, 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
20 years, maybe more than 40. And so we're just hearing about it now. So we're way behind. And it's shocking to people. I mean, when the UFO stuff became declassified earlier this year, it was like kind of shocking, but there was no outrage. It was just like, oh
Well,
yeah,
honestly, I think you could leak about anything, like literally anything, and people wouldn't be outraged or whatever. I think we're just so desensitized to all of this stuff that when something like that seems like it should be shocking actually comes out, you know what I mean? Like something that's actually like crazy, people are just gonna be desensitized to it because they've seen all this hype, and they're just like, oh, it's just some more hype or what, you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I think it's that, and the media has so much control over the coverage and what
well,
gets
yeah,
covered
that's
and
that's
stored.
another
So, like,
thing.
for example, the Hunter Biden stuff that was completely covered up by mass social media and celebrities and news networks and things, and it was just swept under the rug. So when people were polled, I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, no, no, no. You're exactly right because that's where you
Yeah,
really see the media bias. All right, so think about this. It's not or the fake news, right? So it's not necessarily the stuff that they report isn't true. They can
fake
spin it,
fake news.
but it's what you choose to cover. So like imagine if they found that like Eric Trump or Trump Jr. have been doing all this stuff. He has maybe child porn on his computer. He's got emails with
Are
Putin
we gonna get flagged for that?
referring to Big Daddy. I don't think so.
Okay, we're sorry if we're new.
It's the YouTube hits. They've got like code words. We've hit
I know.
Alex Jones. We've hit that. We've hit.
We just won't use dictation for this episode.
But imagine if all that stuff was found on like one of the Trump sons, and then there was like emails referring to Big Daddy or something. Clearly referring to like Trump. Non-stop media coverage. Non-stop media coverage, and it would have been on the front and center of everyone's mind, right? But
Yep.
that's where it's fake news. So they might have said at some point, "Oh, it's out there. Oh, what is it?" They might have given it 30 seconds of airtime or a minute of airtime or even 10 minutes of airtime. But the fact that they don't pound it home, pound it home, pound it home, that's where the fake news comes into play.
Well, it's news. They're manufacturing stories. So instead of reporting on news and what's going on and getting to the bottom of it, they're creating their own news. So when Joe Biden, with this past week, he broke his foot playing with his dog, like that's a quick like 30-second hit. Like that's actually like as dumb as it is, that's actual news.
Do you read that
Like,
story?
no, I don't.
There was
I see. I don't read those. I know I might be a part of the problem, but I don't read those dumb stories. I just see the headline and I'm like, no.
It was more ridiculous. It was more ridiculous than the headline. So basically the story says he comes out of the shower. The dog brings him a toy.
Oh, that's real?
Yeah.
I thought that was satire. Like
no, I read like this. I read like the
listened to a
CNN or
podcast.
NBC article for it.
I thought that was like the Babylon Bee or Onion.
No, this is a real article. He comes out of the shower. He says the dog drops the toy at his feet. Then he says he like throws it or something, and then he chases after the dog and tries to grab its tail. Apparently. Naked. Apparently, the way the article sounded, it sounded like he was naked. Because
did the article frame him to be naked, or did it imply that he was naked by association?
It implied that it happened immediately after stepping out of the shower.
I'm just gonna, as a dog owner, I'm gonna walk through this. My dog doesn't go in the bathroom. Was it a puppy?
No, it was a rescue dog. They adopted it when it was like 3
okay,
years old.
I'm gonna speak for most dog owners. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I'd say like at least a 51% majority. Their dogs don't go in the bathroom because you go in the bathroom, the dog gets a bath, they get their teeth brushed.
Oh, they do not like the bathroom.
Yeah, dogs don't like the bathroom. Okay. So first off, his rescue dog that he just met goes in the bathroom. That dog must really trust old Sleepy Joe. I say that respectfully. Like you fall
like a
asleep.
sleepy grandpa.
Yeah, like a sleepy grandpa. Like you're watching Scooby Doo and you fall
Like
asleep on his
you're
lap.
at the nursing home visiting Gramps, and he's just so sleepy.
He's so sleepy, and it's like, oh, grandpa's so cute. But and then I'm not gonna pet my dog. Like, did he? I'm gonna dry myself. Okay. Like, is he wet? Is that why he slipped? I don't know. Like, I like you. Why wouldn't he just like put shorts on or something if he's gonna play with his dog, or just get dressed? It takes you 30 seconds to a minute to just put a shirt on, walk into your room.
As you may have also heard
and
the
then
president-elect
after
say
that,
yesterday.
why is he pulling his dog's tail?
Okay, so
I never pull my dog's tail.
I got
Like,
his.
what?
I got his quote. I got the quote pulled up here. So this is from FoxNews.com, and here's the story. So here's the quote. This is quote directly from Biden. What happened was I got out of the shower. I got a dog, and anybody who's been around my house knows. Little pup dropped the ball in front of me.
Oh, so it was a puppy?
No, and for me to grab the ball, Biden explained. And I'm walking through this little alleyway to get to the bedroom, and I grab the ball like this, and he ran. And I'm joking, running after him, and grab his tail. And what happened was that he slid on the rug, and I tripped on the rug he slid on. That's what happened, Biden said. So, in 2018, he adopted the dog. So I don't know how old the dog was at that point. But
Well, it's a full-grown dog. Like, it's at least 2 years.
yeah.
Gosh. I wish you wouldn't have read that to me because I was visualizing it in my head. And I don't want to, I'm not going to, let's move on.
The president is a representation of the American people. It's so important that we have someone who can be a leader and someone who is dignified. Not like that Trump. Oh, no.
Well,
we need someone dignified.
Do you see how this happens? So they write stories about Ivanka's farts in like middle school. Mm-hmm. And then Joe gets a story about he's naked and he like rolls his ankle. It's weird. They're both weird.
Well, I think it's
a weird story. Like, it's not like oh, that's cute. It's a naked old man is running after his dog, throwing a ball, and he rolls his ankle.
Well, I don't think it was trying to be cute. I mean, I think that
it's not
the president, he's going to have a walking boot, right? So people are going to have questions. I think that was like a PR thing, maybe. Do we even buy that he was doing that? Or did he just trip down the stairs or something?
Oh, that's true.
That would be my take on that.
He could have fallen asleep in the middle of a step.
Right. I mean, you like trip down the stairs and sprain your ankle, and I think that leads to a lot of questions for people.
You know what? I want to know what the libertarians feel about this. Are you libertarian?
I'm not libertarian, but no, I am. I don't really like any of the parties, but I mean, like a pure libertarian philosophy appeals to me the most out of anything.
Right.
But I'm just pro-human. I'm just pro-human.
So libertarian philosophy appeals to me the most as well. However, with big government and the way things are set up, I don't think we could ever get back to the point where there is small government or set up how it would prefer to be if we were libertarian. So I guess I'm.
But if you could snap your fingers and turn the government into a limited government republic where we're following libertarian ideals of non-aggression and peace.
For the most part.
I think you'd do that, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so let's go back to the Alien Federation. If someone gets in contact with them,
Galactic
we just
Federation.
need to tell them. Yeah, Galactic. We need to tell them that we're libertarian. And then maybe they can snap their alien fingers and make it happen.
We're gonna send the Space Force to Planet Z to
We're gonna send this podcast
because there's
to Planet
terrorists.
Z.
We've discovered a whole galaxy of new terrorists. This is the best news. This is the best news that the government's ever heard.
I know.
We're gonna get
We're gonna
their
get
sweet
to
sweet
go.
oil.
Yeah, all the alien minerals.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Do you think
it will.
People are more anti-war or less anti-war than they should be, or they are, or they think they are?
The thing about it is, it doesn't affect people's everyday lives. So when it comes to the Bush administration, right? So let's take Bush, for example. There's the weapons of mass destruction and then the hysteria with 9/11. So there's fear struck in people. And then when there's fear in the masses, they go against, I guess, what's good for everybody and then only value what's good for themselves based on fear, which I'm not saying that's like, I think that's human nature. So it just happens naturally. So you take people voting, okay? Every candidate says that they're against wars, right? So you hear that, people hear that, and they don't want wars. They vote for that candidate, and then they continue those candidates. Bush did it, Obama did it, Trump did it at the beginning of his presidency. They all said they were against wars, drone strikes, interfering in foreign affairs and in the Middle East. And then once they're elected, people stop paying attention because it's the hot ticket issues are the election and the coverage. So they don't get as much coverage and people aren't paying attention, and then they just do whatever they want to.
Yeah, what blows my mind is what you said, just those words, drone strikes, ground war. I mean, think about this. What is a drone strike? What is war? It's killing people.
Mm-hmm.
People are being killed.
Like,
There's no excuse for us to be in another country killing people.
mm-hmm.
That is not protecting us here. That is wrong, right? There is nothing worse than war. War is the worst thing that a government can do.
Well, it's the last case scenario when it comes to anything, any sort of conflict.
Right. War is the worst thing that a government can do. Not to mention the effects of domestically, right? One of the stories I sent this week was Trump didn't want to sign a $708 billion defense bill. $708 billion defense bill? I mean, these are astronomical numbers, and they're just like, oh, we need this, and we need the bailouts for.
Well, here's the thing
that they're baked into this stuff. Like,
right.
These politicians are also bought off that, and that's where it's like, I wish, I wish Trump would have had more of a spine on some of this stuff. Like from the very first budget that he wasn't budging on.
I don't think so. He did a lot. He's not perfect.
He did.
But
he called out the military-industrial complex. He was like the first sitting president to use that term.
Right,
since
and
Eisenhower did.
He was so tied up with everything from Russia going on at the beginning of his presidency. I think that he couldn't do a lot of what he wanted to do.
Right. That was the plan. He was always on the defensive. Right.
Well, they even lied to him. Like it just came out recently. He was lied to about troops being in Syria, and then it was a joke.
Well,
on the news, they were laughing at him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why these people love war.
How is that okay?
Remember when he wanted to pull troops out, and then the media was like, "No, he's going to destabilize the whole region. This is horrible."
It doesn't matter. We caused the North African slave trade to come back, and we destabilized these countries that were installing their own governments, whether they were, I guess, democracies or republics. They were doing it themselves. So who are we to step in and say, I mean, unless there's something going on awful, like what was happening in World War II or the Uyghur Muslims going on and putting them in concentration camps and using their slave labor, I would argue that's a means for war, because if you are pro-human and you're doing that to other humans, It needs to be stopped. But that I would say that'd be a last case scenario. But I just don't like for oil, for mineral rights. Like,
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the problem: is that
and it's taxpayer money.
well, and
That's our money.
well, yeah, it's politicians that direct the troops, right? The least trusted people, and for some reason, and it's just the thing is, it's like we just need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of the violence. We need to not partake in the violence. The first way to end the violence is to stop participating in it, because when you participate in it, then the other side just keeps participating in it, right? It takes two people to fight, and like you said, right? There are like legitimate issues out there, right? Slave trades, genocides, this sort of thing. But
Yep.
I don't. Is it the response? I don't know. At some point we can't be looking under every rock around the entire world. Trying to
Well,
find these
the
things.
thing about it is that when you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. So by not doing anything, and these issues are hard, but you've got what 300 some countries in the world. Maybe it's like high 200s, and every single country or close to every single country is aware that China has Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps essentially and reformation camps.
See?
And they are okay with that happening. But here's the thing. China, they're in the UN now, right? Isn't it the UN?
I don't know.
They're huge trade, like people keep trading with them, and I'm not. It's not against their people. I'm saying what their government is doing is wrong.
See,
and everyone turns a blind eye because there's a little bit of money in their pocket.
And this is the thing. Like, this is the problem when you don't have strong leadership, right? You need strong.
Well, Trump stood up against.
You need moral people with strong leadership ability, right?
Yep.
And you need these people to say, "Hey, as the leader of this country, I want you to know what this other country is doing."
Mm-hmm.
We cannot.
The media's not telling us that.
We cannot. If you're doing business with, I don't. Well, I mean, people aren't doing business with the Chinese government. They're doing people with people who also live in China. So I don't know.
But it's in the Chinese economy. That's the thing. And then the government essentially runs the economy, just like here it is in the United States with Wall Street and lobbyists and the pharmaceuticals. It's all tied up in government.
You can look at like what we did to Cuba, though. The Cuban people suffered because of the United States policies towards Cuba.
Lots of people have suffered because of the United States policies.
Well,
I'm not saying that
they're one of the biggest.
Our own citizens suffer because of our policies.
Yeah, I know. Everyone suffers because of our government. I mean, we're on the same page there.
I think that's all government.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know. That's why government is not pro-human. Government is pro-government. Government wants to squash any pro-human movements out there.
Well, as much as I find it hard to argue with. I've had the conversation with a couple people, and they just don't like Trump, just in general. And so, if I bring up China, the person not liking him, just because I don't know, for various reasons, but a majority of it is orange left, man bad.
Right, left, right.
Right,
evil,
right.
Black, white.
Yeah, right. So, like, I'll tell you, there's progressive policies that not progressive, but there's liberal policies that I do agree with. But a lot of the times, the moderate to right policies I agree with more. But with the trade that's going on in China and the Continental Partnership, I might be getting that wrong, but shipping jobs to. What's going on over there, it doesn't help the average American. It's taking jobs away. And so President Trump kept jobs here and was trying to keep jobs here. I don't know how, like, it's so black and white. Like, let's keep jobs in the United States and give them to their, like, and give citizens more jobs and opportunities. Whether you're left, right, middle, that's like, I agree with you on that. Like, if you're a politician. So it's so polarized that people can't even agree on like keeping jobs. Let's keep jobs here. Well, Trump says let's keep jobs here, so I don't want jobs here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying a little bit there. I would say from like a just like an economics perspective, right? We want countries to specialize in what they can do for what they can produce at the cheapest rate, right? That's like an economic theory. So if one country has, cheaper labor and there's a labor intensive good, you know, you'd like that country to be producing that
Well,
labor intensive good so that your country can focus on other goods. I mean that's
well
like a
but
basic.
it's not that. We aren't producing anything here anymore. It's all outsourced
And I mean, is that
because it's
necessarily a bad?
cheaper.
I mean, we're one of the biggest oil exporters, huh?
Yeah, it is necessarily a bad thing. So like, well, oil is a natural resource, but like factories and like specific parts, tech parts, cameras, it's all China or other countries. So say at some point we aren't producing any of that here anymore, and we're depending on these other countries. That's not good. We need at least some sort of self-sustainment.
Well, I mean, if there's free trade though, that is a good thing. Like if there's pure free trade, that's a good thing.
Right, but
Because we can
it's
source those things for cheaper.
technically it's free trade, but it's free trade with an asterisk. So it's cheaper to do things over there because they pay their people less. I'm speaking China, and the wages are less. There's absolutely no benefits, and they work super long hours, and it's dehumanizing conditions, and it's child labor as well. So yeah, it's free trade, but as a being pro-human, is that a good thing?
Well, okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I would advocate that there be a free market in China too. There's not,
Right.
but I don't. These are like complex, and those are complex. That's like a complex situation you bring up, right? I was just saying like a high level look at it, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
But
I
but
don't think free trade and
when you
free
factor
market
in
is bad.
specifically like the Chinese angle, if you want to call it that, that we have workers being exploited, forced labor, child labor, and these sort of things going on.
Well, it takes away jobs from the United States because
You're taking our jobs.
you're taking. That's true. Hey, maybe that'll be the thumbnail for this episode.
Maybe.
Oh
No
no, I
copyright.
already have one. All right, we'll get to it later.
Oh,
A little bit. I sent it to you earlier this week.
I have which one I sent? Like I just like buried that in like the last.
Well, I'll get to it. I'll bring it up later.
Oh wait, you sent the thumbnail. Oh, I don't think I saw that
The episode thumbnail
in the show prep chat.
and the show prep chat. Yeah,
I wish we could rename that conversation between us.
probably could.
Oh, is that the thumbnail? Oh, that new one. Okay, yeah. I remember that
Yeah.
now. Yeah. I think you sent it to my
Um,
phone.
do you have anything else? I want to bring something else up, unrelated. But do you have anything else to say about or finish your thoughts about the free trade?
No.
All right, free trade's good. We agree with pure free trade, right?
Pro human trade.
Pro human trade. Tax free.
Humans should not be taxed.
Humans should not be taxed. Spiders, tax them.
Okay,
So
let's move on.
what? So recently, I don't know the vote. What was it? Congress or Supreme Court? Like I'm not a political pundit, but I try my best to stay involved and on top of things.
I try to stay as ignorant as possible.
Right, exactly. I only watch CNN, and I get all my news from politics Reddit subreddit.
I get all my news from when my friends text me about something.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a lot of news.
Oh man, that politics subreddit though. Every once in a while, when there's like something big going on, I like go on there. I'm like, oh, okay, people are probably gonna be somewhat reasonable.
So every time I've been on there, I just read like 5 comments, and I'm like, someone's gotta disagree with this, and then I open it up or like the comment thread, and it's all like, yeah, blah 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 blah, and then I'm just out.
It's bizarro world. Like I can't even like believe what I'm seeing when I'm like reading this stuff.
Well, it's odd. It's definitely there's Reddit is super. What is it, owned by China now, and
Also,
it's really really left.
I don't like even like you go on like the NFL subreddit, right? Because like talk
Yeah,
about football or whatever. It's like half the time it's like political in there, and people are like begging for like lockdowns and like cheering on like when games get canceled. People are like, yes, season's shutting down. Yes, it's
you've
like,
got it.
are you guys football fans or what is it? I mean,
You've got to stay in the smaller sports
yeah,
subreddits.
it's
So
even
the
like
main
team,
one
even
I'm
like
in.
small like team
No,
teams.
like I'm talking like I'm in the Dynasty Fantasy Football subreddit,
Yeah.
and like that's where I get most of my NFL stuff.
Okay.
Just because someone's always it's deep, they're deep leagues, so someone's always like on top of stuff. Like it's not super big, but I haven't come across any sort of politics on there.
Well, yeah, it definitely the smaller whatever subreddit you're on is like just the more like normal people there are
Well,
too.
the content has
Like
to be
hobby,
pure.
I like going on there for like hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, because it's the content is pure and it's not ideological.
Yeah. It's like, oh, just going on like somewhere like talking about like a guitar or this or that or
Right. I
it's
think
like
this
not that bad.
whenever it gets involved with if something's in newspapers, something's on television, then it gets political because newspaper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can follow the breadcrumbs. But what I wanted to bring up is what is it on a federal lever marijuana is decriminalized.
Officially?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think they passed it.
Or
You
I thought
wanna
it was like in one of the more recent bills.
you wanna pull it up
Yeah.
because I can't Google anything because I'm recording here.
Yeah, I got it. I'm Jamie.
Jamie,
Okay.
pull it up.
Federal decriminalization of weed. House passes. So it doesn't matter if just the House passes it, as an elite political mind. The Senate also has to pass it. So even if something
Oh
gets to
my
the House, the
gosh.
Senate has to pass it.
The Senate is Republican.
Honestly,
Do you think it
There's
makes
always
it?
a lot of excitement in this sector.
No, it's established. So like it's
Republicans are, I would say, like a majority of Republicans are pro marijuana. Like South Dakota is like 60% Republican, and their marijuana bill passed. So
yeah, but half the population's in Sioux Falls. It's a big city.
well, no, I mean I guess you could say like hypothetically, let's say 50%, the 40% of Democrats vote, then you only need
It's not half.
10% of the Republicans to vote.
Yeah.
Whatever. But,
So
I mean, I think like in general, like I don't think, yeah, I think the social conservative in a lot of ways is kind of dead, like that kind of Republican. Just because
go. You mean the establishment Republican, like old
no
school
establishment
Republican?
the cronies are still around.
What do you mean social Republican? So
like the classic like Christian conservative style Republican. I feel like like that is way against weed and way against gay marriage and like like those sort of issues. I think people have kind of just been like I don't care about that anymore. I know like 100 people who smoke weed, so I don't want to oppose weed and I don't care. It seems like it's not harm. I think that's like the kind of line of thought that a lot of people are at.
yeah, I just want to say this.
I feel like people aren't campaigning to.
So I've seen a lot of people like that in that box firsthand. Their churches will kind of go the social justice way and just agree with everything that's going on with that movement. And I think it's because Christians in general, they want to be a part of culture so bad, but they can't be. So they have, made their own counterculture. So now that actual culture is overlying in a way, with like being a good person and this and that and righting wrongs, they're completely 100% on board.
Right.
And then
Right.
it's sneaking into churches. I'm not saying that it's wrong or right. This is just observations. And so those old school like conservative Republicans in these churches, some of them have sifted into the justice political or a social movement, and then in that, oh, I just lost my train of thought.
Um,
It'll come back to me.
no, that's okay. But I hear what you're saying. But
Oh, sorry.
I
In that emotion, they're tied emotionally, and so it's not from a place of logic. It's from a place of emotion and them feeling bad and trying to like right wrongs and this and that. So they're invested emotionally, and then they swing sort of the other way because they want to feel like they're doing good, and then they're a part of culture and they feel as if they're sort of a part of what they've wanted to be a part of for so long.
yeah. And it's not like we want. The thing is, like, that's like Christians need to be out there spreading a message of love and spreading a message of
Well, a lot of
like
the times
I'm
they don't do anything.
I
It's like the establishment Republicans.
right. I'm saying, but I mean that's like the thing is, it's like I feel like that's what has been lacking for so long, but then just gets swept up in these other things. But like I don't know who would you even say is like a Christian leader right now? I think there's no like there's not like Christian leaders like strong like leaders that are out
Well,
there.
there are, but they all fall or they're arrogant. So like,
Yeah.
what's his face? Carl Lentz just came out that he had an affair with someone in his church. Like, dudes, like it's essentially mega pastors or influencers. Like that's who's influential in Christianity right now.
Yeah, I mean Christian thought is tough. Like there you can't even like find like a good podcast of just like people who are like just putting out Christian thought. I feel like Christianity is in kind of a tough place right now.
It's all deconstruction and then taking apart your faith and then pointing out the negative and walking away from it. That's essentially the only content that I see out there, I guess, for podcasts, or it's super hardcore, like Calvinistic theology.
Maybe that's a path to take.
I don't know. I like to think you have a choice. If you go to heaven or not, you can,
But I mean, you do have a choice if God already knew what choice you were gonna make.
Oh, yeah,
No,
well,
no, that's another thing.
I don't want to get too deep into that.
It's like I listen to like music podcasts from time to time, and like I would say like all these like bands that were like associated in like the Christian music scene and stuff. Are all just like, we were young then, and you just get older, and it seems like to me, like I still hear like a common theme was like, oh, those Christians, they just, or those beliefs, all the beliefs are just so hateful or what. Yeah, and I don't know. I was just thinking about that the other day. It's just like, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's weird to me to like hear people like talk about the I'm not saying like I want to be careful here because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Just say it. We're already canceled. If
No,
we cancel
I mean, but
ourselves,
like a lot
we
of
can't
these,
be canceled.
like a lot of artists, right, that I've heard about that have like discussed losing their faith, like the way they talk about it, and it's like they never understood what they believed in the first place.
So I've attributed it to you are who you hang out with. So
And they were just like in the scene and in the culture.
right. So people are in the scene and they're in the culture and they're all about it. Okay. And so once they're out and they start hanging with different people or their band breaks up, and I've seen this with a lot of people firsthand. So they never, and I don't want to say, like make this a blanket statement, but personally for the people that I've seen firsthand, they've never really, I guess, sat down and hashed out what's what. They just say like, "Yeah, I'm in," and then they're in because their friends are in, or there's like a social group there, or there's interests that they're interested in, in this community or little subculture. And then when that falls apart, it's just on to something else.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. You know, if
Well,
you're someone who was in a band and you change your mind about what you believe, then put a question on Anchor.
like, comment, subscribe. Actually, please like, comment,
I didn't even
subscribe,
want to get into like that sort of.
retweet.
I feel like that's a segment that could be very turn off to potential listeners.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too far into that. I don't even remember how we.
I don't know.
So we were talking about marijuana, and
Oh,
I
and I
wanted
said
to
the Christian
say,
conservative was dead.
I wanted to say a thought before I lost it, maybe forever. But so we've got the marijuana stuff going on, which is personally, I think we should be able to be responsible adults, and if alcohol is legal, I think marijuana should be legal. But it's so there's the argument that it can lead down a path to hard drugs. So, and we see the way that it's been handled in, was it Washington and Oregon, where people are committing offenses and they're getting let out the same day. So if it comes to hard drugs like heroin, crack, PCP, I can go on, and there's drug offenses like that, and then people are being let out same day in these cities. Like, I'm not for that. There needs to be. I don't have the answers. There needs to be some sort of accountability, I think. I don't know how you feel about
Well,
this.
so what I think.
Marijuana, I'm fine. Like,
So this is what I think. So
just don't smoke
obviously,
around kids and be stupid. Like,
yeah, I want people to make good choices and make healthy choices. And so you can even argue about like ingesting like really unhealthy food, like and getting diabetes at a young age, and
right,
like
alcohol,
you can
a certain amount is
right. So we know that based on substances, the amount of substances that you have, and what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, even stuff that's legal can be bad for you, right? So I think
Oh,
in a
definitely.
free society, in a free society, you should be able to put whatever that you want into your body and deal with the consequences of that. Now, people are very scared when you say that because they just imagine kids doing cocaine in the parking lot, right?
Right.
Because that's like the fear mongering of, but that's what a free, well, now that's
Just
not what a free
open it
society
up.
is.
If you're
But
afraid,
I say, but
like,
yeah, if you're a free society, you are free to ingest whatever substance you want. And now here's where it comes in. So here's where the law enforcement part comes in, right? So if
let's have
you are
people
tripped out of your
put cannons
mind,
back on their porches, like in the
and
Civil
yeah,
War.
if you're disturbing the public because you're just tripped out on drugs, guess what? You're gonna get a visit. You know,
Visit from who? The scary man in your head,
you're gonna
or
get the government goons.
oh,
And it's the same thing with DUI, right? If you're under intoxication, you're not allowed to drive in a car, right? Because you're endangering other people's lives when you get behind that wheel. So it's the same thing with hard drugs. If you're trying to operate a vehicle, DUI, right? And then that's your punishment. Um, but what you get is you get people's lives absolutely destroyed by not the drug that they did, but by being locked up, becoming a felon, falling back into those same cycles. But I don't know what the answer is for like handling like drug addiction in the private sector, and maybe you have some thoughts on that. But that's it. I mean, it's not like people are going to go out and start doing cocaine because it's legal. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing hard drugs, you're going to do them whether it doesn't matter that they're legal or not
well,
legal.
no, but there's more. So if they're legal, there's going to be more access, and there's going to be marketing. So people can market their drugs and things. The drug usage will go up,
Right.
I
Okay.
do
But
think.
if you're a
But I'm not.
business, hey, if you're a business and you're manufacturing cocaine, guess how long you're going to be in business? You're gonna get your butt sued off for
Not
killing people.
necessarily. The pharmaceuticals are okay. The amount of money
Well,
that you'll make, it's going to be worth the. So let's take pharmaceuticals for example. There's loss. Every pharmaceutical is
you're
company
right.
is a
The
felon.
politicians will just protect the cocaine companies.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the amount of profit that the cocaine companies is going to make, they're going to make, is going to be astounding. So that the people that die from cocaine in their product, it's not going to matter because it's such a small fee to them.
Well, so Portugal, right? Is it Portugal that has
Colombia.
no, that Portugal has all everything's decriminalized, right?
Oh,
Yeah, and legally
maybe.
effective
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
2001. Yeah, so Portugal became the first country in the world to decriminalize the consumption of all drugs. People also ask, what can we learn from the Portugal's decriminalization? The primary impact was reducing the burden and cost in the criminal justice system. The removal of criminal penalties alone had little or no impact on the prevalence of drug use or drug-related health harms. That's from academic.oxford British Journal of Criminology or something. So I mean that's the study, right? So whether I mean there's probably a study that says it was horrible, but that study says that it made no difference, but reduced the burden, legal burden. So I mean, take that for what you will, right?
Well, the legal burden would go down, but I don't know. We're too polarized because people want to defund the police and take away. I'm not going to get into that. So I'm going to move
I
back.
say defund the
I'm
police. I want to have Christmas with my family.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no police to arrest you.
So dumb.
Okay. So back to marijuana though. The NBA is not drug testing for marijuana this year.
Um, I was under the impression that all the NBA players were doing marijuana.
Maybe some. Well,
You can't,
there's stories of guys who are retired now who would drink Hennessy before the game or
you can't tell me that over half the NBA regularly smoke. You can't tell me that
well,
half the
here's
NBA
my
doesn't
thing.
regularly smoke pot. I do not buy
Okay,
it.
the NBA ratings were really far. They went into the trash because of all the social justice stuff, and people just didn't want to see it. People don't watch sports to get news and politics. Okay, so the ratings are down the trash. Okay, they legalized marijuana. Like, is it? I haven't looked too far into it, but if you have players who are high at games and you've got families and kids there, like I'm not saying like if you smoke marijuana that you're a bad person, but it's not good for kids in their developing bodies. You know what I'm saying?
If you're like smoking around kids,
Well, yeah, or even like setting that example. So
I
you
don't think the
got
players are gonna be smoking
no. I'm
while
not
they're on.
saying they're smoking around kids, but like you can tell, like not always. Some people hide it really well, but you can tell if people
Yeah, I
are
mean,
high.
it's the same thing with alcohol, right?
So
Like some kid gets into alcohol, I mean that's very bad for
no,
him.
I'm talking about national, like for the NBA branding. Okay,
Okay.
so they're already losing a ton of people and then they move towards this, are they going to set up where players can't be high when they play? Or are you free to, you know what I'm saying? Like, just blaze up
There's gonna be
and
some
then
guy.
go like Michael Beasley style?
There's gonna be some
I
guys.
think he did.
There's gonna be some guys who like double their stats from last year. They're just gonna be playing high because that's what they've
Yeah,
done their whole life.
maybe, but I just don't think. I don't know. Maybe if you did this privately with just the Players Association, that's fine. But I don't think for the public, like, this is the best move for you to release this when you're like people. You have a lot of conservatives who are still against marijuana and drug legalization, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's a good. That's arguably like a fourth of your fan base and then your fan base is already going down, I just don't think it was a good move, or to publicly announce it was a good move.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be a fan of the NBA as long as Giannis is on the Bucks. The second he leaves, I'm probably done with the NBA because that means that the Bucks just got screwed. That's my only NBA take.
Yeah. Yeah, when you watch a bad team for so long, like the Timberwolves, you just why
Well, that's the thing. Like,
why
if the Bucks lose Giannis, that organization is done. It's over. There's all
10
hope is
years
gonna be lost.
it'll take five maybe minimum, and that's a really good case scenario to 10 years,
They'll be
maybe
moving.
before they what
They'll move.
you think so?
Oh yeah, they'll move.
They're a historical franchise though.
They'll move. If they lose Giannis, the fan base is just gonna be like brokenhearted. They're gonna unless they win the championship this year. If they win the championship and Giannis leaves, well, everyone's like, well, Giannis got us a championship before he left. But if they don't get a championship and Giannis leaves after this year, everyone's gonna what you'd have to be insane to ever think that the Bucks would ever win a championship after losing Giannis, especially in this NBA.
Yeah,
This isn't a sports talk though, is it? Is this a sports show? Big sports show?
Oh, we are. I think we're politics,
Big sports show.
media, culture.
Yeah, we are. I think that's good.
It all ties together.
It does. No, I think it's good that we can have discussions about politics and then have discussions about like pop culture and discussions about music and discussions about sports. Because even if you don't know about one of those categories, I know like when I'm listening to podcasts, like they'll start talking about something that I'm not familiar with, like because everyone has like areas of expertise that they know about, right?
Well, yeah, you are pulled towards one, topic.
Right, and I mean you and I like we have similar knowledge bases, right? Like the things that you know about, I know about. Like we're never gonna be talking about like what's something dumb that we would never talk about.
Not dumb. I don't know. See, I wouldn't talk about frisbee golf with you. I would just
we would.
Talk.
Yeah, exactly that. We wouldn't talk about
because
like,
I'm
disc
not.
golf.
I'm really not into frisbee golf.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk about
I'll
it.
leave it at that.
And
so in my category, frisbee golf is dumb.
It's disc golf, but okay.
See?
Yeah, frisbee. I think frisbee golf is dumb too. I played disc golf.
I don't think it's dumb.
Should we start
It's not my thing. I don't have time. I don't have time to do a lot of stuff. I'll make time to podcast though.
Matt Humphrey showed me this magnet that he bought after slow pitch one night.
Yeah.
that thing was insane. It was like I don't know where he got it, but he said he pulled a washing machine out of the river with it.
Well, washing machines aren't really all that heavy.
Yeah, but think about pulling that across the bottom. Like you need so much force. I mean, yeah, it was like this big around.
It's like 2x. Oh, it was big.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like this thick and like this big around.
Yeah.
And it was definitely one of those neodymium or whatever.
I've never pulled anything really good.
I haven't pulled anything, I don't think.
Pulled the pliers.
Did you?
That was my best.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Apparently Andy pulled a bike.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he throw it back in?
I don't know. Apparently they were down at Hinderker Pond fishing off the dock, and Andy pulled out a bike.
I've been on that dock, and I didn't get anything.
Really?
Some yeah.
You're not as good as Andy.
Shit.
All right. Was there any other topics that you wanted to hit tonight?
Yeah. So I want Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So I don't know. Joe Rogan. He's the biggest podcast in the world. The Joe Rogan Experience.
Second biggest.
Oh, second biggest. Next is something big. This podcast is the biggest podcast in my heart. I think podcasts are subjective, so Joe Rogan Experience is the second.
I can't say that.
So the Joe Rogan Experience.
I can't say that. This podcast identifies as female. I was gonna say something else, but
Does it?
I say so.
All right. So this podcast.
Were you gonna say it too?
No, second biggest podcast. First biggest, Joe Rogan second. So recently he moved to Spotify and he cleared out his nothing is on Apple Podcasts anymore. A ton of episodes got deleted on YouTube, and he's not releasing full episodes on YouTube anymore.
So
It's just like video clips.
the episodes
from
that
the
he
podcast.
deleted. Tell me this. So the episodes that he deleted from YouTube, are those episodes available on Spotify?
I don't know. There's a Reddit post on the GRE subreddit. I might have sent you.
Yeah, you sent me a link or something.
It's on that link.
Well, yeah, I saw the title was list of. One second, I'm just going to get on. So there's no video on Spotify, or is there?
Well, there is video on Spotify, but there's
is.
no comments. So remember Timestamp Guy? Like, he does all the timestamps every episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like Joe talks about DMT for 30 seconds. Jamie's talking about his brand new hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that, there's no more of that guy. And the comments were great. And I would primarily watch, or I would try to watch. So I would split it up where at work, they're long episodes, obviously. So I'd listen at work, and then when I got home, I would pick up from that point on YouTube. Well, the Spotify app for podcasts, or like Spotify Podcasts, is super glitchy. Even if you have premium, you can't skip Joe's ads. And there's no comments in the videos. And it glitches out in the middle of an episode. And then you have to restart the episode. It doesn't save your point.
So, my question to that is, how much do you think they had to pay him?
He got $300 million.
Really?
He got $300 million.
Can you blame the guy?
But maybe. I mean, he's already got money. Maybe not.
That's $300
if the
million, man.
Like, now everyone's like, oh, Joe sold out. But I don't know. If $300 million were sitting in front of me just to switch platforms.
Hey, Spotify.
I'd like to say I wouldn't, but I probably would.
Spotify. I'll give you this deal now and only now. We will become Spotify exclusive for all of our show for $30,000.
That's a really good deal, Spotify.
And we will not
every $30,000 each.
$30,000 each. And every episode, it goes up by $1,000. So Spotify, now is the time to strike. This podcast is gonna be big.
Balls in your court. We're gonna tweet Spotify once this episode goes up. Our offer. Or should we not do? Or should we not do that?
Honestly, I feel like the content's pretty good.
Is that your own bias?
We should cut the bit where we're talking about people losing faith or whatever. I didn't like that part.
I'm not going through.
I didn't like that part. We should cut that.
That's fine. It's authenticity.
Yeah. Well.
So I don't know. I feel I didn't listen to Joe Rogan every day, but his guests, and when he has somebody on interesting, just the long form conversation, and the guests that he had on, he just set himself apart from so many other podcasts, and maybe it's because he was doing it longer.
Well, it's because he let people talk.
It's just like, yeah, I like.
And he let people talk like what they wanted to talk about.
Exactly.
Well, not always.
Not Steven Crowder when he was on there.
No, I didn't watch that.
Steven disagreed with Joe about how marijuana can be like mentally addicting. Like you think that you need it. Like you've convinced yourself that you need it, which you could convince yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that with
but you can do
almost
that with anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Joe was high off like super high.
No! I left it in the freezer too long.
Oh no.
And now
Mountain
it's frozen.
Dew.
I
Mountain
need it!
Dew will offer you this offer today.
Mountain Dew.
We'll exclusively go on PepsiCo. We'll be the first. We'll create a podcasting platform for you for $30,000 each, and every episode it goes up by $1,000.
Mountain Dew. For $300,000, I will drink exclusively water and Mountain Dew for the rest of my life.
Will you, for $300,000, will you get a tattoo of a bottle of Mountain Dew in between your eyes, right here on your forehead?
For $300,000?
For $300,000 in between your eyebrows and your forehead. Small bottle, like a half inch by an inch.
Yeah. I do that for $300,000. If Mountain Dew, you want to do it? You could retire on $300,000.
I feel like you could pull that off, actually. Like more than me.
I've got the unibrow, so
Yeah, it would look better. I think it would look better on you. Like maybe I'd get it like by my ear, but I don't think that's a little big.
Dang it.
I'll tell the guy who edits our episode.
Yeah, we need an edit guy.
That's me.
Can you edit that part out though, please?
Absolutely not.
No, then there will be more hype during the podcast because everyone will be like, "What did they say?"
What the two people that maybe listened? Sorry, I mean our 100 listeners.
F you, two people that listen. If you're listening right now, you can screw up. Yeah, there's no one that. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the podcast. There's no one that's listening to this. If you listen, hey, if you are listening right now, we will give you.
If you leave a comment, we will change the rules, and if you write us a review and subscribe on what's it called, Apple Podcasts, we will send you this DVD, and we will end our giveaway.
Well, think about this. So, what if that happens before someone listens to hear it? Because let's say down the line the podcast gets more popular and then people start listening to all of the episodes. So, if you are the first person, this is the listen to the end of episode 2 contest. If you are the first person that mentions the contest, we will find something and we will hook you up. It'll probably be something like a DVD or a CD or whatever.
A video game.
Or video game. Might be a video game. But
you guys, no, I'm going to finish this Joe Rogan thought and then I'll move on.
Oh, yeah.
But,
go ahead.
So I feel like we were in it's like the golden age, right? And you didn't notice you were in it. So like when you're young in your 20s or your late teens, you're kind of just thinking like, oh, I can't wait to have money or get my own place and stuff. But then looking back, you wish you could go back to some of those times where it was just like you hanging out with your friends, and just having a good time and not really having a ton of responsibility. And now Joe is gone, and that time is gone. Joe is the new Howard Stern. You heard it here.
We actually have some decent listening numbers. I don't know if you've looked at them.
Yeah, I did. I think it's mostly me accidentally clicking play on the episode.
It says 13 unique listeners.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know.
So it says, on the various apps, but it says, so there's Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, and Overcast.
It's only Anchor and Spotify where we have listeners.
It says our listeners are 50% female and 50% male, according to Spotify. So, think about that.
Oh, that's a fact.
Are you done with your Joe Rogan bit?
Yeah, I'm done with that, but I want to plug this. So, when it comes to the giveaways, so we've done the first giveaway. We got Star Wars Attack of the Clones. I listed on the giveaway 1 video and audio. I listed, or I didn't list, but like I showed The Office season 1. I think it was like a Final Fantasy for PS2. I used to thrift and resell, so I've got a ton of video games for multiple platforms, controllers, systems. I've got a bunch of jerseys, like 6 shirts from like the 80s, 90s, shorts, hats, a bunch of CDs, DVDs, and I could sell it, but I don't know. I'd like to. I don't know. It feels better just to give it away. So, your guys's fortune for my misfortune. Think of something. Think of like a catch. Think of like a saying. Quick.
Yes.
Yeah, think of one. Like a proverb.
Oh, proverb.
You were not listening to anything I just said.
No, I wasn't. Well, sorry. I was looking up something. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm not gonna say it again.
Proverb. I'll go back and listen to the episode.
Yeah.
You can just tell me now.
I don't even remember what I said.
He who freezes the Mountain Dew must wait for it to thaw.
That's true.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, it completely fits.
Okay. Sorry, I was.
Oh.
Is my name gonna be in this video?
Yeah, I think I can edit it out though.
Yeah, just put a floating bar in the corner for Ryan and then Coley. I just like Googled my own name just to see what was out there, and like my phone number is literally on the first page.
Oh really? I haven't done that in a while. Can we talk about?
I hate doing it, but I was just curious to see if I cared whether my name was out there.
Want to pull up that article about the man fighting a bear?
Oh yeah, that's good.
You want to end on that?
Yeah, that was a good article.
No, actually, let's end on Let's check listener mail.
Okay, is there listener mail?
We'll see.
Well, we need a mailbag song. One second. I'll play. I'm capturing the audio, so I'm gonna play a mailbag song, and then I'll tell you.
Right.
I'll tell you when the mailbag song is over.
Yeah, tell me when to go.
Okay, so this is Gavin McInnes mailbag song. That's just the first result on YouTube. So okay, let's go.
I don't hear it.
Well, I can hear it.
Okay, tell me.
Tell me for me. Okay, go ahead.
Tell me when. All right, time for listener mail. Okay, there's nothing on YouTube.
Okay.
And we'll check our email. Oh, there's one comment.
Oh. Read it.
What do you? I liked this vid. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And then there's no listener. There's nothing in our Gmail. So.
Nothing. What about
thank
Anchor?
you.
Do we have any voice messages on Anchor?
You'd have to check Anchor.
Okay, I'll look it up.
And then I'll wrap. up.
Okay. Wouldn't that be sweet if we had a message on Anchor?
Oh yeah.
Do we even
send
know
us a message on Anchor?
Do people
we'll
know
send
how
you...
they can do this?
Probably
public
not.
site. Okay, so if you go to anchor.fm/podfishy, you can add a message.
Do we have any messages?
I'm trying to check. I was just going to the public site to see what it looks like. Okay, so dashboard. That'd be sweet if we had a message. Your message will be played on the podcast. I don't think we have any messages.
All right, and that concludes listener mail for this week's episode.
I don't know where to go to find them, so there might be.
I already ended it, so.
Oh, did you cut the video?
Yeah. No, I ended the listener mail segment.
Okay,
yeah.
And then the article, a man punched a bear to save his dog. That was a fun article, news segment. All right, so Should we wrap it?
No. I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you punch a bear to save your dog?
Yeah. I would honestly like.
You don't think it would like it's gonna be fight or flight?
Would you
You
run in
don't
front
think
of a
you'd?
car? Like, would you? Let's say you're running in front of the car. Your dog's frozen. The car's coming. The only way that you can save your dog is to dive, push him out of the way, and you know you'll get hit. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
If a car runs over the dog, it's probably gonna die. Versus if a car runs over me, it's just gonna hurt, or I'm gonna get a broken bone or something.
Right.
Chances are
Or
I'm not gonna
paralyzed or
die.
something. Or dead.
No.
No, I would do it too in a heartbeat. Yeah, for sure.
I would
you
really
kill?
like to. What?
Would you? So
A
say,
bear?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
A bear?
A bear?
Would I kill a bear?
No. Would you kill like a homeless man?
No, we can't talk about this. We're gonna get in trouble. We don't talk about that.
We just want YouTube to know that we would not kill anyone. We are pro-human.
I'd like to say I would fight the bear for my dog, but in that moment, like if fear would overtake you.
You would be so juiced with adrenaline. Like if you feel about your dog the way I feel about my dog, like I would be like running full speed at that bear. Like just adrenaline running.
I know. Okay, but I know
the bear had the guy's dog.
No. Oh, he did?
The bear had the guy's dog by its head, and he ran up and punched it.
Punch it.
And then it ran away. But it had it in its head. Mouth. The mouth. Head was in the mouth.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I think you want to react and be heroic, and that's what you want to do, but I don't know if everyone is capable of that in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. See, it's a good question. You never know until the moment comes, right? You always wonder, like when you're in those like life or death situations, like what happens, whether you're paralyzed by fear or whether you're like full of adrenaline.
You're the hero with the knight's armor and the sword.
I know, it probably depends on the situation.
This situation is a bear is trying to eat your dog.
Well, no, I mean just like in general, like when you think about those situations. Okay, we should wrap this up. This is no one's. We're my recording time is 1 hour and 22 minutes right now.
Yeah, same. Just finish the bear thought and then we'll wrap it up.
I don't even remember what
we had to do listener mail.
We had to. What? Oh, weren't there some other segment? We need our ridiculous tweet segment, right?
Oh, you can pull that up. You can do that segment.
I don't have any ridiculous tweets. Should we go on the
All
politics?
Right. And that's it for the.
No, let's go on. Let's do a politics subreddit.
No one's listening. Well, politics. We're gonna no.
Okay, we're gonna read the top.
Next episode.
No. We're doing this. Oh, the Republican Party is a danger to American democracy. Chicago Sun-Times.
A healthy democracy has, like, it's not a uniparty. There's differing opinions.
We do have a uniparty, though. Republicans and Democrats both love the welfare state.
All right.
They're a uniparty.
All right. I need your first reaction.
Okay.
Like the first thing that comes to your mind. What is the name of the uniparty?
Republicrats.
Oh, that's good. I don't think I could come up with that.
Right?
Yeah, it's like the Aristocats, that movie.
Oh,
but the uniparty's all cats.
Okay, next episode thumbnail. It's like a Republican cat and a Democrat cat, but they're fat cats and they're sitting and they're smoking cigars. And we'll play Fat Cat by Dirt.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good song. Do you know that song?
That's really good.
I could play it right now. Oh, outro song.
Oh, play it out.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You won't be able to hear it, but you can just imagine it. Or you can pull it up and you can listen at the same time.
No, I can't because the video, so.
Oh. Well, you could, yeah.
I should actually have my other laptop pulled up.
Or you could play it.
Go-
Oh no, I can play it on my Bluetooth speaker, and it can come through my mic.
No, just no.
What? Just play it from Spotify in the browser.
Just play it.
But you're not gonna hear it.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, you get to react. Well, I feel like the whole point is that you can hear it.
Watch yourself. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Little cats on the it don't matter until the last of materials makes one want more. With no room to fund his appetite, he goes the gun route, trades his talent for bullets and shoots everybody out. He wants to be leader of the pack, and in his game to get it, he steps on everybody.